All right. I think we're live.
All right, let's hit it.
I'm just going to double check real quick and then we'll jump into this. Let's see. Looks like are we live on YouTube? So, for those of you guys, if you're here, I can't actually see anything right now. I'm using a brand new studio broadcasting software and there we go. Now I can see the chat. Okay, I see Joel's comment. So, I'm
What
not
might
sure
have
if anyone's actually
the
here yet.
tent?
The test I see testing. I don't know if
Okay, all right.
maybe that's just us.
Yeah.
um, but it looks like we're live. So let me double check one more time because I didn't see it yet on YouTube. Looks
It's a
like we're live.
live,
All right.
it's a
So
live recording.
yes. Oh, recording. That's probably a good thing to do too. Um, oh, that's okay. Well, let's jump into it. I think we're the only ones here right now, but we'll let people kind of pile in. But for those watching the replay and stuff later, I wanted to bring on my friend Joel to talk about crypto and everything right now. So Joel and I met back in 2021
No,
at the no, did we meet before that?
well, in real life we
Right.
met, but technically we met on the internet in 2020.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So 2020 we connected online. 2021 we met in person in Sedona at the Family of Light gathering that Alexis and I put on.
yeah,
And that was super dope. And then from then, we stayed in touch. We started talking more about crypto. And then when I started my coaching program with Conscious Crypto, I ended up bringing Joel in because he was super educated, knew what he was talking about. I know maybe sometimes you don't think that you know as much as you do, but you honestly know so much and you're really um, educated and wise, I think, when it comes to crypto and, just kind of awakening in general. And we have very similar paths to how we, I think, came to crypto and found XRP and like our kind of spiritual paths were very aligned. And so we're going to get into that. And we're also both Geminis. So we both just had our birthdays a couple days ago.
yeah.
Um,
As well as XRP and the SEC.
That's right. That's right. XRP, the SEC, me and Joel, we all had our birthdays within like 10 days of each other. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot more characters that are Geminis as well. I mean, the former president, his birthday's coming up in like 2 days, I think.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I think the 14th or
It's
something like
also
that.
Flag Day.
Oh, today?
No, the his birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
interesting.
sense. That's cool. That's cool. And then I don't know if you know the Peace Stealer, but I was just on his show the other day and his birthday's today. He's also a Gemini.
Wonderful,
So lots
wonderful.
of Gemini energy. So cool. So yeah, let's get into a little bit about like you and your background and how you found crypto and XRP, and then after that, we'll kind of have a more open conversation about what our thoughts are about the whole space right now, where it's going, and how it's going to service the world ultimately. So tell me a little bit and tell the people watching a little bit about how maybe like your awakening story a little bit, and then how that led you to crypto.
Well, my awakening started like maybe 12 years ago, and a lot of it really just had to do with being in college and experimenting with psychedelic drugs and really exploring all my curiosities on the internet. Um, and a large part of that journey had to do with the material that was put out by David Wilcock. Time and time again, any crazy new subject that I came across and I was trying to research, he kind of was always there. Like he knew a little bit about everything, sort of like a jack of all trades, master of none sort of situation. But yeah, like I was just like like your hat says, team light. I was
Mhm.
in it to win it. I was going to a lot of conferences and events, particularly the Conscious Life Expo out here in Los Angeles, which is interesting because at the time I didn't know who you were, but you said that you were also at those same events, and that's even where you met your wife.
Yeah,
You know,
2018. You were there that year, right?
I was there for pretty much every single year since 2012.
Yeah, that's epic, man. Like I didn't
Yeah, yeah,
you were on that path way before I was even discovering that kind of stuff, which is super cool.
yeah. So kind of, in a way, we've all been in the same tribe or the same family, so to speak. But yeah, that was just kind of like a thing I did on the side, apart from like living a regular life. Going to work, going out, having fun. Just basically doing what a normal person would do, pretty much. But a lot of that came crashing down in 2020. I think we all know what happened during that year.
Mhm.
But like my whole world just got flipped upside down, and in a lot of bad ways, and then also in some good ways. But looking back, I'm kind of glad a lot of that stuff happened, because if it wasn't for all that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And where I'm at now is pretty cool, pretty fun, and a lot of that has to do with cryptocurrency and what we're going to talk about here today. But yeah, I basically, it wasn't just me, but everyone had a bunch of free time, right? A lot of us are out of work, and there's really not much we can go do during this time. So I had like an unlimited amount of free time to just research everything that came my way. And without going into too much detail about that, a lot of what was going on at the time had a lot to do with 17. And it was kind of like this bridging between like pop culture, politics, spirituality, and all kinds of things, like all, meshed into one. And the world was going crazy. And a lot of us were just trying to make sense of it all. And during that time, I made a lot of friends on the internet from all over the country, all over the world. We all just kind of had similar ideologies, or we just thought that things should be a certain way, and we all wanted to make the world a better place, essentially the best way we could. And some of those people were talking about cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin and whatnot. I've always been aware of that stuff, but it never really interested me, because in my head I was like, okay, well, it's like based off of nothing. Like what's a Bitcoin? But then it didn't like really dawn on me until years later that so is like the fiat money that we use. Like it's not really based on anything. It's just kind of like based on trust, and the value that it has is just kind of whatever value each individual applies to it. So basically, yeah, I found like a little corner of the conscious community that was really interested in cryptocurrency. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm hanging out with these people online, chit chatting with them all day. Might as well put my money where my mouth is. And so they were talking about the next Bitcoin, the next Bitcoin. And I was like, I don't know. I don't care what it is. Just tell me. And so like, oh, they're talking about XRP. So I put a couple $100 in. At first, I downloaded, or I entered the wrong exchange. I signed up for Kraken,
Oh yeah.
because of the popular catchphrase at the time, "Release the Kraken." So I signed up on Kraken. I'm like, I don't see XRP anywhere. Like, what's going on? Like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was just kind of chatting with someone who was a member, like a well-known member of the 17 community during that time. And he just kind of just told me pretty simple and sharp, like, go here, do this, do that. So eventually, after trying Kraken and trying Gemini, I found XRP on Coinbase. And this was like in November of 2020.
Mm.
So like literally weeks before the lawsuit by the
Yeah.
SEC was filed. So my little couple $100 investment was just like plummeted, because it went from like 60 something cents all the way down to like 17 cents.
Mm.
So I didn't really care, because it was just kind of like play money at the time. But
So that was the first time you bought XRP, was a month before the lawsuit dropped? Damn,
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
mean,
insane.
I had known about it for a few months before then, but I didn't pull the trigger on making a purchase because I still didn't take it too seriously. But I guess I guess the price was gaining momentum because a lot of people on Twitter were just having a big old party because they were making money. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, I want to join in. I don't know what you're doing, but I want in. Let's do it. So when that lawsuit hit and the price tanked, I was like, oh, what now? And these people that I was communicating with were just super hardcore and they were in it to win it. And I was like, all right, well, if you guys believe in it, and so do I. And now I'm gonna put in a couple thousand when it's kind of like, below 20 cents. Fast forward a couple months later, it's like at $2 and like, oh my God. And now I have like the most money I've ever had in my life. So I think I'm gonna stick around. I think I'm gonna do this crypto thing for a while. And between when the lawsuit was filed and it reached that $2 mark in the spring of 21, I started to do my research. Like I actually bought in before I even knew what it is I was buying and what it was all about.
It's crazy how similar our story is, dude. Like, there's things that you've said in this that we haven't totally talked about. Like going back to the beginning, the psychedelic thing, like that was my,
Mhm.
catalyst as
Yeah,
well.
and
So
we both dropped out of college.
yeah, both dropped out of college, both, had kind of our spiritual awakening through psychedelics in college, and then ended up kind of, becoming a part of these spiritual communities, disclosure communities, and then that led us to, 17 and then crypto. It's crazy how similar it is.
Yeah, and I literally discovered you by searching XRP and into YouTube, pressing enter, and uh, at the time your video was just like you standing in front of a tapestry. And a while back, I used to have long hair and facial hair, and it felt like I was looking into a mirror. I was like, but he looks like me. Like I have that same tapestry in my room, and he's talking about XRP, which is like what I'm here researching. Like is this me? Who is this guy? And I immediately befriended you on Twitter at the time, and I just started talking to you right away as if I had known you for years.
We didn't even know our birthdays were like 4 days apart at that point either, which
Yeah,
was
we didn't
crazy.
know. I mean, I just said, hey, like I'm on your team. Like
Yeah.
let's rock. Let's whatever it is we're doing, like let's do it. And then that was like a month before we all kind of got nuked on Twitter. Like all our accounts just completely got obliterated.
Yeah.
And so like the community felt like a diamond, and then like it just felt like I got shattered, and like we all just kind of dispersed into all these different corners of the web, and a lot of us kind of were like went off into these big old echo chambers in Telegram. And that's kind of where we just did our thing. Like we fast forward to what now, like 3 years later, without even realizing it, we have become sort of experts when it comes to navigating this space. And it all just kind of started as like a casual hobby.
Mm.
And like looking back, it's like, oh wow, like we do know a lot, and we can teach people who are curious and want to get involved with this. And that's basically where we are now.
Hmm.
Um, Still going with the flow, and in my head, I'm kind of like mentally preparing myself for next year because it is an election year, and I
Hmm.
feel like the world is just going to be crazy again. But I want to be able to not let my emotions get the best of me and be able to remain calm and make money in the process of dealing with all this chaos that is going to be at our doorstep.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Sweet. By the way, if you, in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Joel or myself, throw them in the chat, and I'll try to get them as we go through the stream.
Can I see?
So,
I don't even
what you
know
say?
where that is, man.
Oh, yeah, I had to, at least for me, it's on the side as comments, but on your side, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you know what?
Open your phone
I'll
too.
let you worry about the chat. I'm always in the chat anyway, so I'll just do the screen.
There you go. Yeah, you're the chat guy normally.
Yeah,
um,
I'm trying to become a moderator for BitBoy. I think that's
right?
the thumbnail, right? It's me and BitBoy.
Yeah, that was such a good picture that I had to make it the thumbnail. If you guys watching don't know who BitBoy is he's the one with Joel in the thumbnail, and he's the I think the biggest crypto YouTuber, 1 point something million subscribers.
Yeah, if not the biggest in the country, maybe the biggest in the world, even.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
probably. And you met him a couple months ago, right?
yeah. At a book signing of his,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like like when I'm really interested in a subject, like I don't want to just be casually involved, sitting on the sidelines. Like I want to throw myself in there, like like going out to those spiritual events and getting to meet people like David Wilcock and Corey Good and whatnot. So now I'm like trying to get out there, and I've already met Crypto Wendy O. I've met BitBoy. I've met a lot of other people. I met you. I consider you to be famous.
I'm not famous, man.
In my eyes, it's like you're one of the pioneers that are involved in this community.
For sure. Well, that's really nice. I appreciate that. So, what do you think about BitBoy's switch over time from being a super anti XRP figure to now being the self-proclaimed leader of the XRP army?
I love it. I think it's hilarious. I never really paid attention to BitBoy. The only reason why I discovered him was because of the Variable Bull, right? The Variable Bull is one of my favorite XRP YouTubers, and
Mhm.
all these clips of BitBoy started to circulate throughout XRP Twitter when he started to basically talk about them positively. Because before that I didn't even know he spoke about it negatively, or he used to be a Bitcoin maximalist and whatnot. But now he's kind of like all about altcoins, and I think he's a smart guy. I think he knows where the money is going to be made, and so yeah, I started to watch him kind of as a joke because everyone was kind of like treating it as a joke. But then, like, the more I started to watch his material in his morning show, I was like, wow, like this guy's the real deal. Like he kind of started from the bottom, went to the top, and he's still doing it very passionately. And I know he's getting very involved in politics, and when it comes to cryptocurrency and politics,
Mm,
and that's something that I actually can see myself doing in the future as well.
mm.
Why not?
Well, you're
If it's
making
like,
the right connections.
yeah, I mean, I like the passion and the energy's there, so it's like, why not? Like let's make a positive change and let's make a living
Mhm.
in the process.
Totally. Well, what I thought was really cool about what BitBoy did with the whole FTX scenario, where he was like fighting for the people, um, he did get a little, I don't know what the word would be, um, maybe borderline aggressive about it, but his intention was like to really. So basically, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, you've probably heard of the FTX scenario, the collapse that happened. I don't even know what that was, 9 months ago or something like that. Um, so when FTX collapsed, it was super corrupt. Tons of people lost money. It unveiled all this corruption between the SEC, the Biden admin. They discovered that FTX was donating, or what was it? They were taking Ukrainian donations, and through FTX they were rerouting it to the Democratic Party and some Republicans as well, but mostly Democrats. So it like blew that all open, and BitBoy really took it upon himself to be like the kind of the justice, seeker in the situation, and was like, really vocal even leading up to the FTX collapse. I remember he was telling people like, this is coming, like get out of FTX. This thing is corrupt. I have insiders that are telling me, like it's coming down. And then like 2 weeks later it happened. And then he was like flying out to the Bahamas, trying to like find Sam Bankman-Fried and like doing all this stuff. And it was pretty entertaining to watch. And I grew more respect for him for sure, in those moments, because just like I could see that he really was for the people. Like
Mhm.
he didn't feel, like a corporate bought out kind of sellout energy like a lot of the big YouTubers can be when they hit 1 million plus subs. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it got to the point where I was even a little concerned for his safety, you know?
yeah.
But he even mentioned on one of his shows before that he himself knows his limits. Like there's certain people that are involved, like certain names involved in this that he's not even going to touch and publicly address because he wants, let the experts go take it that far. But I I love BitBoy. There it is. I said it.
I think you made me like him more too. The more that you shared his shows and stuff with me, I grew more fond of him over time.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to become a moderator in that chat, so we'll be.
yeah, and then you can rep conscious crypto in there.
Yeah, yeah, or like I think I told you he's gonna start doing a live studio audience pretty soon, like once a month.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah,
see
that's
if I
cool.
can get some tickets for that.
Fly out to Atlanta. That'd be fun to do together. Go watch the show.
Little Atlanta trip. I don't know anything about Georgia, but I love to travel.
You know what's funny? Synchronistically, you brought up David Wilcock earlier. I was reading The Law of One this morning and last night for like the first time in a long time. And you're familiar with The Law of One,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. So for people watching, if you've never heard of The Law of One, it's a series of channelings that were kind of popularized through David Wilcock. He really, kind of spread the information about it out there to a wider audience. But for me, like the Law of One has been the most, I literally feel like this is what I thought this morning. I feel like I'm doing DMT every time I read the Law of One. Like the in like the healing capacity, like what the mind
Yeah.
set that it puts me in.
It
Um,
immediately expands your consciousness.
Yeah, like it's like a meditation. Like I can be really angry and like upset, about something, and I go and read it and it really helps me like decompress and like get this perspective that I wasn't having before. Anyways, I brought that up because what I was reading specifically this morning was about how they were in Atlanta, Georgia, basically when they were doing all the channelings.
Wow.
And so I was reading the part of the book that was like the behind the scenes. It's the last book where it's all the deleted content basically that they took out of the books originally because it was the more personal information about their lives. And so it had to do with them like looking for the house that they were going to be living in to do the channeling and like looking through houses in the Atlanta area and in the mountains in Georgia. And it was just like a lot of talk about Georgia. So
Hmm.
synchronistic that, coming
Interesting.
full circle with that.
Yeah. I feel like I remember like Wilcock being upset that they like left certain parts out of like the main material or something. So maybe that's what he was talking about.
I think, well, he lived with Carla Rucker, who was the actual channel for the Law of One. She was like the one they were actually speaking through her. And then there was another guy, Don, who's asking the questions. He lived with Carla. And I think you're right that there was more stuff left out than even what they put in this last book that was like the deleted material.
Mm.
Um, and wasn't it something like he was upset because she had passed, and I think that he was feeling like the information was maybe not going to come out. I could be wrong about that, but
Something along those lines.
yeah. Well, let's see. So what do you I want to get your thoughts. I know we've talked about this clearly a lot in the conscious crypto coaching calls. So for those of you guys that are just joining in now, it's 17 people on the call, by the way, good number, or
Oh,
on
wow.
the
Wow.
stream. Yeah. Joel and I have been hosting coaching calls every week for the past year as a part of Conscious Crypto. So we have a Zoom call every
You'll be
week,
doing it every Thursday, right?
every Thursday.
But you might switch up the days going forward.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think we're going to start doing Sundays now.
that. I like that.
Yeah, more people I think have Sundays off, obviously from 9 to 5 jobs. Um, and Sunday is like the holy day too, right? So a good day to talk about this kind of stuff. um, so yeah, so we have conversations like what we're having right now, literally every week for like the past year with a group of students in the Conscious Crypto program. So like if this kind of vibe and convo speaks to you and resonates with you, the Conscious Crypto Academy might be a really good fit for you. So there's links in the description down below if you guys want to apply for that. But where I was going with that, were you going to say something?
I was gonna say those classes flow so like beautifully. Like each person just has something to say, and we all just kind of resonate and bounce off each other's energy. It's great.
Yeah, and I see Jeanette in here, so shout out to Jeanette. She's in the program, and see if there's anyone else. Ross is here; he's in there too. Good to see you. Welcome, guys. Shout
Yeah,
out to
that's
Isaiah.
one of my favorite things. Like they're from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yep.
love it.
Yeah, we have like a really diverse international group. A lot of people from Australia. I think Australia is like the second biggest representation behind the US, which is really interesting. Even more so than like Canada or the UK, which you think that would be more prominent. But there's this interesting connection between the US and Australia that I've noticed in like the spiritual kind of communities, whether it's, you know, the conscious crypto communities or like more awakening disclosure stuff. There's this
Yeah.
interesting connection between those two countries.
Well, it's like they both branched off from Great Britain, right?
Yep. I mean, yeah, basically, we're all like slave colonies, basically. Um, Shout out to Jeanette there. I love that I can show comments now. This is one of the cool things about using this new
Wow.
platform.
Yeah, I'm glad to be a part of the first stream here.
So, oh, someone, Raina said, my best crypto buddy got me into XRP. His birthday is the 13th too. That's awesome.
Something about Geminis and moving money around or something.
Here's another June 13th. Lots of Geminis. Okay, so, oh yeah, I remember what I was going to ask you. So, what are your thoughts on the kind of, and you can really go wherever you want with this, but like, have you noticed that within the various crypto communities, because you know, there's kind of sub communities within crypto behind the different projects, whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum. Um, what are your thoughts on like the kind of phenomena of like the more spiritual or like intentional or conscious type people being more associated with XRP than really any other crypto or like feeling guided to it in some way?
That I mean, XRP is the only one that I think has that kind of community. I mean, just to stereotype some of the communities off the top of my head, it's like you got like the gamer nerds, like people that just kind of come in because they're all about gaming and stuff like that. I kind of like associate those people with the type of people who love NFTs, like all the colorful pictures and whatnot. And then you got like the really technical, nerdy people. When I say that, I think of like Cardano,
Hmm.
or, the maximalists that are probably the most tribalistic, the Bitcoiners who are, like kind of like pirates, and they want to go against the man, and they think that the downfall of society is imminent or something. I don't know. They're like,
I like that analogy, like pirates. It does feel that way in a sense, like
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
anarchy energy.
And maybe the spirit of cryptocurrency kind of had that like pirate ideology to it. And from what I understand, XRP or Ripple is sort of like the man, and it's known as the banker's coin, and in a way it kind of feels like selling out, or if you can't beat them, join them. And there's a lot of different phrases and perspectives you can have on that, but I think that's sort of the reason why the conspiratorial, conscious, spiritual community is drawn to it, because their research has led them there. And it's like it's like putting like swimming with the whales. It's like if these big institutions and these big players are going to really make a ton of money off of this, and why can't we as well? And what can we do as a community or as individuals, like what can we do with that kind of energy, you know, because money is energy, money is power. It enables you with the ability to navigate and do this and that and essentially like manifest your dreams, you know.
Hmm.
So that's it. Like that's how I got into it, you know. Like I was never a finance guy, a technical guy, a cryptocurrency guy. Like
Me
I,
neither.
yeah, I mean, I had a vision for the world, and you know, I kind of vibe with certain people, and here we are now. Like we're just making money together. That's essentially what it feels like. We're like a big group of people just kind of creating our own little mini economy,
Hmm.
or banks within banks and economies within economies, you know.
Hmm.
And it's fun. It's fun. I know I don't really get too crazy with the Riddler stuff anymore, but when I first got involved, I definitely was all about it. I mean, I still believe in a lot of that stuff, but I'm much more jaded now. You know, like I don't have an emotional reaction to
Yeah.
the ups and downs of the market or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Same. Same. It is interesting whether the Riddlers are legit or they're not. It's interesting that XRP is the only coin with Riddlers. Like of the tens of thousands of cryptos,
mhm.
we haven't heard about that with any other project. So it's like could be legit because of that, or if it's fake, why is it fake? Like, what's the reason? You know?
Yeah, but then there's like some things that happen that just kind of make you wonder, like a lot of the Mr. Pool sort of predictions that have occurred, you know, and that's
Yeah.
like some of it has like nothing to do with money, but like world events that are happening, you know, and maybe in some roundabout way has something to do with money, but it's like why, like why this community, why this project, like what's going on? I don't know. It's entertaining, and I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. But I'm like, you know, like I said, I'm not as emotionally involved with that stuff as I used to be.
Hmm.
But it's cool, like when I see people first getting in it now, like you know, watching Extra Bod every day, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What I really love about XRP is like you have this whole spectrum of um like you can come at it from a super 3D tangible, traditional financial or whatever standpoint, or you could come at it from a super conspiratorial, metaphysical, like disclosure kind of ascension perspective. And there's like this whole gradient in between, and it makes sense at any level. So it's like even if the, conspiracy, more metaphysical kind of theories and thoughts around XRP aren't true, it still makes sense in the completely 3D sense. And to me, it's like it checks all those boxes across the whole board of, you know what I mean? Of like that whole gradient of possibilities,
There's
which I
something
haven't
for
seen
everyone.
anything. Say again?
Oh, there's like it's like there's something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like it's the only project that I've seen that besides maybe, Bitcoin in a more generalized way, but it's the only one I've seen to the degree that it does kind of wake people up. Like there's people who come in on the super 3D side of it and end up on the more conspiratorial.
Mhm.
Like I think of like the kind of YouTubers like Digital Asset Investor, Digital Perspectives, guys who were more in the tangible, data side of things and ended up slowly becoming more like, okay, I'm now awakening to like, starting with the political corruption and then like what's really going on here? Okay, is there a financial reset going on? Like who is this intended for? Like what is all this stuff? And it just
Yeah,
provokes all these questions that I think catalyze people's awakening experience.
and I definitely love that like that aspect of the community. Like there's different flavors, you know. Like if I want like for example, like one of my favorite XRP YouTuber is easily Alex Cobb.
Yeah, he's
Like
great.
that's just straightforward. You know, he's not gonna get conspiratorial on you at all. He's just gonna tell you like what's going on in the news, maybe give you some technical analysis or whatever. But then I also love throw on some Bearable Bull, which feels like I'm watching a movie, and it's like all suspenseful and dramatic, and oh my god, it's gonna the switch is gonna be flipped tomorrow, you know.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Bearable Bull is like that is a, and they're friends, aren't they? Like they communicate or know each other to a degree.
I think a little bit here and there, you know. And then I feel like in the middle of that, you got like a Crypto Mason, you know.
Yeah. 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 And you know what I like? One of the things I like a lot of things about Mason. He's a good guy, but one of the things I really like that he says is, he comes from more of the perspective that XRP could be the NWO coin. And that's not where I come from. Like, and we could talk about this too, but like, as we've talked about before, and I've talked about before on this channel, I think XRP is kind of this Trojan horse energy where it's made to look like the thing that is the, NWO kind of system. But when you actually look into what's going on behind the scenes, like specifically with the SEC and, how the SEC was colluding with FTX to bring down DeFi, bring down all the decentralized crypto infrastructure. And then, FTX obviously collapsed. There was all that collusion, but SEC suing Ripple at the same time. So clearly there's like collaboration of collusion between, um, the negative groups. And if Ripple and XRP were a part of those negative groups, then why are those guys fighting it so hard? Why do they hate it so much? Why does the Biden admin hate it so much?
Exactly. It's I mean, what what really interests me right now is the fact that the SEC is going after like three of like the three of the biggest giants in the industry, right? Ripple, Binance, and Coinbase.
Yeah.
And I think of a very popular theory that has been around in the community for the past couple of years is that, you know, XRP might literally be the only coin with clarity in the United States, and it's looking like we might be seeing that in like any day now or like any week now because first in first out, all
Mhm.
these other lawsuits are just getting started, and the Ripple SEC lawsuit should be coming to an end. I mean, I'm expecting it this summer, even though I've been expecting it for the past like 2.5, 3 years. But I mean,
Well,
I
why are you expecting it this summer?
because of things that Brad Garlinghouse has said, and even BitBoy's interpretation of the lawsuit. I really can't see it going into August. I'd be surprised.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Me
just
too.
that's my gut instinct, my intuition.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to expect. Whether the price goes down and I buy more, or the price goes up and I'm sitting pretty. I'm ready for anything. You know.
Well, that's what was so interesting about the lawsuit. And like, the lawsuit has been dragging this out, right? So like people thought this was all going to happen a couple years ago. The Riddlers were insinuating 2018 is when it was supposed to happen. Things have maybe been delayed. Um, but like the opportunity that we've been given through the lawsuit to grow our bags more is divine, I think. Like the amount of XRP I had back then was so small, but I thought I was set. Like I was like, I'm good. But like the longer this gets dragged out, the more we get to, you know, invest in it and become more part of that opportunity, which is I think part of the, if not the 3D reason, at least on the kind of more, divine cosmic level, that was meant to be, to kind of allow more of the average person to wake up to this, discover it, and then have the opportunity to invest in it. And, as to why, like, why would that be the case? We've talked about how we think like basically this transfer of wealth that's going to happen through crypto coming into mass adoption and through XRP specifically, I think it ties in with why certain people are being guided to it, and why people are feeling like spiritually guided to it when they don't know anything about it, and like why people like you and me didn't feel good about Bitcoin and Ethereum, didn't invest. Um, and then when XRP came around, there's just like something in your intuition, in your being that's like, there's something about this, right? And I've heard that from like so many people. So I really feel like it's putting the money in the hands of the people who need it to do God's work, is what I think.
Yeah, there's like a weird element of like responsibility that kind of comes along with it, which is it's a part of it's a little challenging, like with great power comes great responsibility. It's like the Spider-Man line, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's really what it feels like. Um,
So here's a question for you. Having gone through all the kind of David Corey stuff and learning about all that, do you feel like XRP was do you feel like it was something that was kind of seeded here in a way? Or where do you think it came from? Did it come from David's mind? Did he make it up? Or do you think something else maybe happened? And I mean, obviously I don't know either.
David Schwartz.
Yeah.
Well, it can be both, right? Because you can say that like the technology was seeded here through his mind, right? So it's like the channeler and the channeling are both like one and the same. Like they both deserve credit.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, realistically, I think all of humanity's technological breakthroughs were sort of like a divine intervention sort of situation, where it's like either something happens to someone or someone just randomly gets this brand new idea. But yeah, I do think that blockchain technology in general, it gives me a lot of like space, like futuristic space tech kind of vibe, which does get into the realm of extraterrestrials and advanced beings and entities. Whether you're talking about higher density consciousness, whatever. I do believe in all that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we are, in fact, talking about essentially extraterrestrial technology or whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. I mean, maybe the average person might not want to hear that, but I believe it. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like the average person is like, I kind of like lost faith in trying to convince people to get into crypto. At this point, I feel like I need to do it for myself and have something to show for it. So to convince people, like, hey, like you don't need to be chasing those dog coins. There are other projects out there that are,
Yeah.
and deliver a more return on investment.
Yeah. And some people just aren't receptive to it, and that's where it's like there really is, like, certain people that I think are meant to go in certain directions. Some people, like Andrew says here, he said, "Most definitely my intuition told me to invest in XRP before I even learned about it." I've heard that from so many people, but then you get the opposite. You get the people that are like, "I won't touch it. Like, it's the devil. But those people usually aren't the same type of people as the people being guided to it, if you know what I mean. So it's an interesting pattern.
And I think it kind of has a nice ring to it as well. Like, like XRP, it's simple, sleek, sexy. Ripple has a nice ring to it, and there's all these like metaphors about um, currency being like water, fluid, ripples, splashes, all that stuff. Liquidity. So
Mhm.
to me,
Yeah.
it all feels very appropriate and like it clicks, and it it's worked for me, and I want to see it continue to work even better.
Mhm.
And like I said, like I truly feel like as soon as I can have something to show for it to convince people, like, hey, look, I did this because of this. Like, you can do that too. Now will you listen to me? Now will you listen to Jace? You know, because
Exactly.
for those that just aren't intuitively, magnetically attracted to it now, it's like if they don't see it now, then I don't think they'll see it ever.
They
Um,
might see it at $10, you know?
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I by $10, like, wow, like I never have to work again in my life. Like, that's crazy, Like, and a lot of people in crypto, I think I was telling you this recently. Like, they talk about, oh, I want a Lamborghini or I want to be a millionaire. Like, I just want to be financially free. Like,
Mhm.
let's just quit the 9 to 5 situation first and go from there.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. And to me, that's like what the main intention behind conscious crypto is all about, is not that we're not trying to, have a bunch of Lambos and mansions. It's about, of course, getting to a place where you're comfortable and feeling abundant. But then what can we do with this? Like, what's the next step? And this keeps coming in for me, especially like the past couple weeks, which makes me think that we are getting close to, XRP moving into this next phase. Um, but I've been thinking more and more about, like, how are we going to use this? Like, how are we going to create and build the infrastructures, the communities, the systems that we want to see in the new earth? And that's where, you've heard me say a lot, like, I don't think anybody's coming to save us. I don't think any one figure is going to, like, you know, be the solution to all our problems, but we're going to be given the tools to be the solution to our own problems. And that's where I see XRP really coming in. It's like that catalyst, so that it's like we're being given the tools by God
Mhm.
to create what we want to create on the earth.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of cold storage. Taking
Mm.
it a step further. It's not just about buying it, and having it on an exchange. Because we all
Yep.
know what can happen with that. So, like you said, taking responsibility in many aspects of our lives, and a lot of that includes, our time. Time is money. Money is energy. So you
Hmm.
gotta do whatever it takes.
Yep. For sure. So I want to touch on We Are One's comment right here. They said, who will control XRP will control the faith of the next global financial system. That is why so much fight about it right now. What do you think about that? You have any thoughts on that? Is there like a war going on to control XRP?
Yeah, I mean, if not XRP specifically, then definitely the global financial system. And I think a lot of what we're seeing right now with the whole Russia-Ukraine situation is like a obvious part of that. There's a lot of there's a lot of crazy stuff going on behind the scenes. I know you kind of briefly touched on it earlier with the whole FTX, Biden administration, dirty money being moved around, and Gary Gensler having a direct connection to Sam, and it's just like, oh my god, like getting into that rabbit hole is just, it's mind blowing, it's frustrating, it makes you laugh. It, it's
Yeah.
just, it's crazy, and I'm glad to be aware of it, and I'm glad to be invested in a part of it, because it's exciting. It's like for some people, a random Tuesday, they don't know what's going on in the world, but like, on Twitter or on Telegram, it's like, oh my God, did you see this? Did you see that? And it's like, it just feels good to be on top of everything, like there's like never a boring day.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's honestly probably one of my favorite things about crypto, is the level of inspiration and hope that it's given the average person coming out of, like, what you could call a dark night of the soul, right? So, like, dark night of the soul, for anyone that hasn't heard that before, is the kind of the moment in your life, or many moments in your life. There can be multiple, I think, of these, but moments in your life where you're going through a lot of intense inner work, shadow work, things going on in your life. It's the moment at which you are catalyzed to go through the most like inner transformation is usually what they call the dark night of the soul. And I feel like we had this collective dark night of the soul as this, at least as like the, conscious community, which is obviously a very vague thing, but the kind of awakening community when we were really moving through a lot of the 17 stuff. And we were seeing all these mass arrests. We were seeing record levels of CEOs resigning, all this stuff going on. People waking up to, of course, the child abuse and the trafficking and all that kind of stuff. That was all very heavy. And a lot of people came out of that black pilled, which is like doomer mentality. Black pills is you have no hope for the world anymore. And I saw, it do that to a lot of people, which was really sad. People felt overwhelmed and kind of doomed. And crypto, and particularly XRP, was this like beacon of light, like this beacon of hope, this thing that we could shift our focus to that was constructive and productive and was like this clear path towards creating the solution that we wanted to see for all this stuff. And to me, that was like so beautiful.
It's like the express lane.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was like the express lane. Yeah. Imagine the price of XRP if it's used in the future for interplanetary business, right? I mean, this is already getting set up. Like, even if you leave ET stuff completely out of it, more that end woo-woo end of things, leave that out of it. But we're already getting set up for XRP and XLM to be intergalactic or interplanetary currencies, meaning, like Starlink. I think Starlink, if
Yeah,
not already, is going to be running XRP.
Elon's probably going to have something to do with that first interstellar transaction or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Like, and you heard about like Jed McCaleb, who owns Stellar, also owns this space company called Vast. Did you hear about that?
Dude, you're not going to believe this. Dude, like synchronicity right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Vast is literally my new client for work.
No way, dude.
I cater to them.
No way.
And here in Long Beach, California.
Dude, you like, man, that's crazy. That is mind blowing.
I walked in there recently, so I was like, "What do you guys do here?" And they said they're an aerospace company, and I wish I could. I mean, I took photos of like the kitchen area where I had to like serve whatever, but I wish I could have taken photos of some of their workers. They were in individual pods.
What?
That, like, you go to like a typical office space, everyone's sitting in an office, whatever. Like, some of the workers were like against the wall, like in like a clear, transparent pod with like a computer working. Like,
by pod, do you mean it was like not like a cubicle? It was like,
no, it was like almost like an egg, kind of like egg shaped ish.
Weird.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't even make that connection until you just said it right now. But yeah,
dude,
they're one of my clients at work.
So you didn't know until right now that was Jed McCaleb's company?
I knew recently that there was some new Jed McCaleb project, and I just kind of, read it, whatever, brushed it off. But yeah, I can't wait to tell my boss about this. He's going to trip out. Because I got my boss to buy a little bit of XRP. So as soon as I tell him that there's a connection there, it's going to be pretty interesting.
It'd be so funny if you wore an XRP hat or shirt into Vast.
You know what? I don't think I have any obvious crypto merch, because part of me kind of just wants to keep it low key,
Yeah, I don't either actually, but I've been thinking about them.
I wouldn't want to be wearing like a Ripple shirt and all of a sudden like XRP is worth like $100 a coin. Like, oh God, it's like putting a target on you.
Or like it's your license plate and then everyone sees it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy that there's a little bit of a stellar connection there.
Dude, that you've already blown my mind with the kind of
I'll send you a picture of their office. I have like a couple pictures, but I'll send it to you.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. You've already been blowing my mind with the connections that you've been able to make and like the synchronicities with all of them, and that's like even next level.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zen Lounge, by the way. Good to see you, man. He says,
Yeah.
big bull rally coming. Don't get shaken out. Yep. I think we are very close. Definitely, I would not sell if you've been holding crypto and you're like, oh, like, getting antsy about it. I would hang on to it. We're very close. I feel that we're very close. We Are One says, Greg Kidd talked about XRP as an interplanetary ecosystem. Yeah. Yeah. Literally one of the guys who's on the core team of Ripple talked about it being an interplanetary currency.
I mean, why not? Might as well.
Wild. So yeah. So I mean, with Vast and everything, Vast most likely will be using Stellar since they're connected with Stellar.
Yeah.
But what I think is going to happen, like we've talked about a lot, is the whole Elon XRP X.com X app connection, turning Twitter into this X app.
But PayPal, MoneyGram, they're kind of using XLM too, right?
Yeah. PayPal, I think, yeah, I forgot about that. I think PayPal is using XLM to a degree with certain transactions. What was the other one you said?
MoneyGram?
MoneyGram. Yeah. 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 So what's really cool about MoneyGram is right now in Mexico, if you have, say you have a Lobster wallet, which is on the Stellar network, and you've got some XLM in there, you can go and cash that out at like a local Walmart or something if you're in Mexico. And this is going to be coming to the US soon, where you can directly cash out your crypto into cash without having to like do all this funny business online. And it works through USDC. So you basically would just swap your XLM into USDC, go to a MoneyGram location, send them the USDC, and they'll give you cash for it. Super cool.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to me that a lot of other countries are kind of like getting ahead of us when it comes to all this crypto stuff.
So what do you think is going on with that? Why is the US intentionally sabotaging itself as far as like staying current with the technology?
I just so there's like a internal civil war going on, right? I know there's like a generalization that the government's all bad, but I think there's a lot of good people in every aspect of our lives. Good cops, bad cops, good politicians, bad politicians. So I think there's like a struggle, and like maybe the people that are holding on to the power that they've had for so long, they don't want to willingly let that go. And I feel like we're dealing with the death rattles right now, like Ripple spent like $200 million and they're wiping the floor with the SEC. And I heard Binance has like $1 billion reserved to go after them. So like, wow. I feel like the SEC is like an endangered species. Like they're about to be extinct. So
honestly, and like not just the SEC, but like, the other 3-letter agencies that
a lot of them. And even though it seems like not that it seems, a lot of other countries are miles and miles ahead of the US when it comes to the crypto sphere, I almost have like this vision of like a slingshot where it's like we're just getting ready to let go and then we're gonna like blow everyone out the water. Assuming we get like the perfect victory and Ripple can stay in the US and like USA #1. That'd be awesome. I would love that. If not, I'm gonna have to join Cobb and get some citizenship in South Korea or something.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Did he actually get citizenship there?
No, but he's traveled there, and I'm pretty sure it's only a matter of time before he stays there long term.
He'll probably marry a Korean and then move there.
Yeah. And what's funny is that I recently saw that In-N-Out Burger had like a pop-up in South Korea. And
no way.
And that Cobb's always talking about eating In-N-Out. So I was like, okay, it's only a matter of time. Yeah, he's gonna go there.
Yeah, meant to be. Yeah, I keep going back and forth with like how this is gonna play out even beyond XRP, but just with like the whole US and like the US and BRICS basically. And I feel like there's different timelines at play in any scenario. Like nothing is ever set in stone, right? So even the most insider of insiders doesn't know for sure what's going to happen because only God at the end of the day knows what's really going to happen. But I feel like the most likely scenario, if DT comes back in 2025, and I say if because that's like obviously there's some like interesting things at play there with like
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy Jr. Like that would be interesting to see them go head to head. But if he does come back, DT, I think that timeline that we've seen the Riddlers put out, Mr. Poole specifically about DT, Putin, and Xi, and who is it? Modi and whoever's in Brazil right now.
Bolsonaro?
Well, yeah, it was Bolsonaro, but is it still? That's what I'm not sure.
He's still there. I think he's still there. I
Okay.
thought.
Because I know they had an election and there was like a bunch of corruption, but I don't actually know what ended up happening with that. But it
Hmm.
might be a similar situation with us
I
here.
just saw that comment. My XRP can levitate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good comment. Uh brain fart. Oh yeah. So
The
if
DT timeline.
yeah, the DT timeline, I mean what Mr. Poole and the Riddlers have kind of put out there is that those figures are going to come together with BRICS. We're going to have this new, beautiful international economy where all the international superpowers are now in harmony. We're no longer warring. And it's basically because of XRP and this new financial system backed by gold and precious metals, empowered with liquidity through like XRP and XLM. That feels like the best case scenario to me, at least at the moment.
Yeah, and I can truly see that happening. Although I think it's gonna take a lot of ugly stuff before we get there.
Yeah, definitely could. Definitely could. And then things could go a totally different direction if someone else, like if JB, for whatever reason, ends up getting a second term,
Yeah,
that
I
would,
heard that they're not even gonna have a primary, right? Like the Democrats aren't even gonna like be able to vote for a new candidate.
is that what they said?
That's literally what they said. Like they're not gonna hold a primary.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So like how they're just going to decide who the candidate is as a party?
Oh, they already chose.
Oh, JB?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
that.
I
That's
didn't
the
hear that. They're going to totally do away with the primary?
that's the word on the street. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I mean that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I don't. That's a whole
How would
other.
they push him again though? Like it's so
I think a lot of it has to do with the stuff that they're hiding and they're protecting. Um, because, I mean, from what I've heard, it's as much crazy stuff that the public basically already knows about the Biden family. It's like not nearly as crazy as what's going on or with the Clintons and the Obamas. But yeah, I don't want to get too deep into.
yeah, the trigger words.
Yeah, for sure.
No, we've been doing good so far though. I don't think either of us have said any.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not used to doing live streams in public like this, so I've been on my
Yeah,
best
this is
here.
this is Joel's first time doing a live, right? Like ever, right?
Yeah, ever. I, I like it better when I could speak more freely, then I can get a little crazier. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is.
Well, that's a good reason for people to join Conscious Crypto because that's where we can talk unhinged, uncensored, and we can just go into it.
It gets raw.
Yeah, it gets raw. Let's see. We Are One says it's simple. XRP for value, XDC for international and national business contracts, XLM for SME services, and finally Corium and Sologenic for tokenizing all of the world assets and commodities. So let's talk about what are your favorite projects behind XRP and XLM?
I mean, I've grown very fond of Flare Network. I mean, I know people like to talk down on Songbird, but I still love Songbird. I still have my bag, but I actually really love Flare. Other than XRP, yeah, I like all the other stuff. You know, Corium, Solo, XCC, XLM. Like I love it all. I know recently you even convinced me to get a little bag of Stronghold. You know, a little Hail Mary bag.
Little moon bag.
Yeah. But no, other than XRP, I love Flare. Something about that project is really enticing to me. And a big reason are the monthly airdrops, and
Yeah.
and the fact that it's going on for 3 years. Like that's I just I love the idea of like income being generated for me on the blockchain. Like it's just I don't really need to worry about it. It's being generated on its own.
Hmm.
So that's that's all I gotta say. Other than XRP, Flare, but yeah, there's plenty of other coins. As of right now, I'm trying to keep my portfolio to 13 projects only because when I first got involved, I had like 50. Uh, but yeah, I'm trying to be as minimalist as possible with that.
Can you name all 13 that you have?
Off the top of my head, probably, but I mean, let's see what XRP, XLM, XDC, Solo, Core, Flare, Songbird, Algo, HBAR, Stronghold, and I'm probably forgetting. Oh, there's a new project I'm interested in. I know we were talking about BitBoy earlier, so his new project that he didn't really
Ben?
start, he acquired. Yeah, Ben, be everywhere now, Ben Coin.
Yeah.
I want to incorporate that into my portfolio because of the political, you know, angle that it's trying to take. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. So
yeah,
they like this Ben coin started off as like just a normal meme coin
kind of a
from,
joke. Yeah,
yeah, from some guy named Ben. And then um, somehow BitBoy ended up taking it over, buying it, or like, I don't know if he actually bought it, but somehow they transferred kind of management of it to him. And now he's no longer making it a meme coin, but now it's like a serious project. And like you said, it's be everywhere now. Is that what it is?
yeah. That he made it stand for that, and he's trying to apply it to like his political progressive campaigns and whatnot.
Yeah. And
So
like crypto adoption and stuff too, right? Like popularizing.
yeah. So I'm thinking of incorporating that into my portfolio very soon. Basically, as soon as it's available on a decent exchange, because
Hmm.
I don't like to get too involved in like the uni swaps and the MetaMask and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I know how to do it, but I don't like dealing with Ethereum and stuff. It's just no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one coin, let's talk about meme coins a little bit since we're on this subject. Um, let's see, earlier someone had mentioned meme coins. Let me see if I can find their topic. Here it is. Chasing meme coins, I believe, is a distraction. Um, and I would agree with that. Like in general, that's yeah, mostly they are distractions. People do make crazy money off of them though. Like the way I see meme coins is kind of like a different version of gambling.
Mhm.
Like, you know, if you're going to put money into meme coins, treat it like gambling, treat it like you're never going to see that money again. But if it takes off and does like a 10x, 50x, 100x, then, you know, you're blessed and awesome. Um, and like you, I've kind of avoided meme coins in general because most of them are on Ethereum and like you have to do all the Ethereum nonsense. But recently, I've been thinking about buying Jesus coin, which I was actually just
Yeah.
talking to Zach about before this live stream. Have you heard about that one?
I have actually. Did you get some?
Not yet. I literally almost bought some at the top like a week or two ago, and my intuition was like, no, wait. And then like the next day it went down like 50%. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it ride a little bit. But it feels like right now is like maybe a good entry point. So I'm thinking about getting it in now.
Yeah, let me know where you get it because the I have heard about it and the memes are pretty funny. Like the promotional memes for it are pretty hilarious. And you know, who doesn't love Jesus, right?
Right? I want to read to you guys their like bio. See if I can find it.
It's like even if it rugs, you could still make the argument that it'll resurrect from the dead, right?
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, exactly. It's coming back. Okay, so their website, it says, "Jesus, the only name that saves your soul and your bags." It says, "Your prayers have been heard. Jesus Christ forgives your sins, redeems your bad trades, and blesses you with heavenly riches. The world is full of rug pulls and honeypots, but Jesus is here to set you free. Shitcoins are risky, but Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life." And then they quote the Bible, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal vibes." Fake Bible quote, eternal vibes.
That's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful.
Zero FUD, 100% good Christian memes. And from a tokenomics perspective, I think it has the opportunity to do pretty good with their marketing and the Christian base and everything, like with, there kind of being a rise in Christian.
Christian based, because like a lot of base people are all like, praise and love Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be Christian to love Jesus. Like, I feel like who doesn't love Jesus, right? Like Jesus is just a cool guy.
I mean, there are those people that don't believe in him.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
But even if you don't believe he was the son of God or whatever, even if you don't believe he doesn't exist or never existed, he just it's like a
Yeah.
good archetype for a good guy. Like, how could you dislike that, right?
He's a badass.
Yeah. We Are One says, "For me, Flare is Codius in disguise and will be a major asset to help support XRP's growth." Interesting. Yeah. I have heard that theory before, that Codius
I
kind
have
of
no idea what Codius is. What's that?
Codius was like, I don't know a ton about it. I'm like, I don't know enough to like explain it well. I don't think it's around anymore. Um, Codius is an open source hosting protocol. Ripple actually has it on their website. Oh, I guess it is. They still have it on their website from 2014 though.
Interesting.
It's like smart contract. I think it's a smart contract, like Oracle or something like that. I'll have to look more into it. I don't know too much about it, but
yeah, Flare, love it.
yeah, yeah. So Flare, and then let's talk about that airdrop a little more, so people know more about that opportunity, because that's honestly like golden. The airdrop that's occurring with Flare. So basically, over the next 3 years, every month there is an airdrop distributing the supply, and this is how they're getting the supply out.
Is it 15%?
So it started at 20%, and every month it goes down a little bit. So basically, the earlier that you're in, the more you're going to make from the airdrops, whereas the people who say got in like a month before it ends are only going to get like a tiny percentage for that last airdrop. But even though the percentage is dropping, it's only because the amount of the total supply is increasing.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually, like, if you put a certain amount in, you should get the same airdrop every month. Like, that's what I've noticed, is my airdrop has been pretty consistent, right?
Yeah, or even a little bit more if you're delegating properly or well enough.
Yeah, good point. So the delegations, which is basically like staking, that is a bi-weekly reward system that's built into Flare, and that compounds with the airdrop. So not only are we getting these monthly airdrops for Flare, 20%, moving a little down from 20% every month, but then I think the weekly, bi-weekly, it's like, it's either a 0.5% or 1% a week, I think, something like that. I get it confused between Songbird and Flare.
Yeah.
But there's this calculator that you guys can check out if you go to flare.space, and they will allow you to calculate, like, if you put in this much money, how much can you roughly expect to get back over the 3-year period? And for those of us that started in March, when the airdrops were first starting, it was about a 23x return of investment if the price stayed exactly the same. So just in terms of the coin itself, 23x. That's with the compounding interest. So like crazy. And then, if the price goes up, which you
Yeah.
know, expected to. That's even
What really interests me is that, when it comes to the 4-year cycle theory that they say, Bitcoin tends to follow the presidential elections. Like during the midterms, it's down, and during the presidential elections, it's like way up. So I feel like accumulating all the flair leading up to that time frame could be a good time to, maybe sell some for profit or whatever you want to do. I'm just saying,
yeah.
I mean, that's in the back of my mind when it comes to what I want to do with that. Not that I'd ever sell my whole bag, but I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to taking profit.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, yeah, if that did happen the way you're saying with the presidential cycle, then that would put us that'd be like 2 years from now, right? So we'd be like 2/3 of the way through the airdrop.
Yeah, like it would still continue, but like that might be a sweet spot to kind of like time the top of the market.
Can you imagine the like USD value of those airdrops coming in and the staking when the price does go back up and get to like previous all-time highs or higher? The passive income is going to be life changing.
Yeah. Yeah, a little making money while you sleep. A little too good to be true.
Yeah, it's magic 5D internet money. So, what do you think about Corium?
Corium feels very serious to me. Like a very serious project. Like Flare kind of has like a fun kind of vibe to it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely bullish on Corium as well, but I can't see myself touching those bags for a long time.
Hmm.
So that's definitely more of a long term hold for me. Whereas with projects like XRP, XLM, Flare, I kind of a little more fluid with it. And I mean, XRP, yeah, like I have like my big bag, but like I also use it for casual transactions all the time,
Yeah,
just because it's so cheap to send and it's so fast.
yeah,
It's kind of fun, just seeing your money just kind of zigzag everywhere, and oh, now it's here. now
yeah. It
now
is like when you
it's cash, or now it's in this card, or now it's converted into that crypto, and it's staking over here. Like it's fun. I love it.
it is super fun when you're just moving it around and how quickly it moves, especially wallet to wallet. And you're just like,
Yeah.
wow, like we don't need the banking system. Like we've been relying upon it for so long.
Yep. And like if you can't get it over here, convert it to that, send it here, boom, boom. There you go.
Yeah,
It's almost like there's always a way, there's always a workaround.
yeah, yeah. There is. And kind of on that same note, what's cool about it is like I was talking about this. I was trying to explain XRP to my grandma the other day. Um, and my grandma loves Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
So I showed her that clip of, them talking about
Oh,
Ripple from way
the
back when.
Ashton Kutcher.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which now I think Ashton Kutcher is more of a Bitcoin ETH maxi,
Okay.
not an XRP maxi, which kind of plays into the theories that I have that this was like kind of a Trojan horse, and then maybe they realized it wasn't actually what they wanted, like the
Yeah.
dark groups or whatever. Um, but anyway, I showed this clip to my grandma, and I was like, shoot, where was I going with that? What was I going to say? I'm having a total brain fart now.
Maybe
What did
just
you
about
say right before?
how fast it is, how fast you can send money, and how easy it is.
Yeah. Well,
XRP, Ellen, Grandma.
yeah. I don't, I don't remember where I was going with that. You said something that made me think of something about that.
You were trying to explain to her how it worked.
Yeah. Well, I showed her that, and she was like, "Oh, it's interesting," but
Hmm.
I totally forgot where I was going with that thought process.
Maybe it'll come back.
Yeah. Anyway, um, what else?
I don't know.
Any other topics you wanna hit?
I
Anything
mean,
else
it's
interesting to
just
you right now?
it's just a Sunday, right? With the 11th. I mean, I don't really know what's going on. I
Oh,
mean, the only thing I can think of is the 13th, right?
That's what I was gonna say. What do you think's gonna go down if you just had to guess?
Part of me thinks that they're going to settle tomorrow.
That'd be
It's like
wild.
part of me thinks that the SEC does not want these documents out in the public at all. So, like, you know, it was just last week that they launched those lawsuits against Binance and Coinbase. So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if 1 week later, either on the 13th or on the 12th tomorrow, they just kind of wave the white flag and settle with Ripple
Yeah,
and continue to try and do their dirty work elsewhere.
just kind of brush it under the rug and put the focus on the other lawsuits.
It's like to them, it's like okay, yeah, they're gonna lose that battle, but they're still waging their war.
Mm,
The
yeah.
war is still going to continue, but I think our community is going to see a little victory
Hmm.
or a big victory. However, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, like relisting on exchanges, Ripple IPO somewhere down the line. And I was telling you recently, the value of the stock price for Ripple that you can buy on Link2
Oh yeah.
it's doubled in value over the past month or so,
Wow.
something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I wish we were accredited investors so we could get in on that.
well, maybe the XRP could be a vehicle to getting us there at some point in the future.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So for those of you guys that don't know, June 13th is the date that what are called the Hinman emails or documents are supposed to be released by I think the court is who's releasing them. And basically what these documents are is a transcript of a speech that a guy named Bill Hinman gave, I think, to the SEC many years ago, back when they were kind of first starting to figure out the regulations. And we don't know exactly what's in these documents because they've been classified. But from what we've heard, what's been redacted and what the insiders have said is that it's very detrimental to the SEC because it exposes the free pass that the SEC gave to Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation, and how they've basically been colluding with the Ethereum Foundation while going after Ripple and claiming that they were committing the crimes they were giving Ethereum a free pass for, basically. So I could definitely see and I didn't even think about that, but it makes sense what you said that they might settle tomorrow as the last
I
day
mean, I'm
if they
not
want to
I'm
keep
not
it,
an expert, but if it happens, you heard it here first.
right? Like if they wanted to keep those documents private, that would be a smart way to be like, all right, let's settle. And in the settlement, part of that deal is these are going to stay private. And Ripple would probably agree to it as long as XRP was not declared a security, because that's what they've said. So,
Mhm.
and if that doesn't happen,
Isn't there also a separate part to the lawsuit as well? Like, aren't they also going after Brad individually as well as Chris Larson individually? Like,
yeah, they're definitely being sued as a part of it, but I think it's all the same lawsuit versus like separate ones, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how legally that all plays out.
yeah, but like I said, if no settlement tomorrow, then hey, maybe we'll get to see those documents and we'll have fun with that.
Vegas Golden Knights play the 13th.
Yeah,
Golden Knights.
and
That's where we're
here
going to be.
we're not red pilled or black pilled here. We're gold pilled.
Yeah, exactly. Gold pilled. The reason why XRP is hated so much is that it cannot be controlled by anyone from this realm.
Cool.
That's what We Are One says. Yeah, so we can start wrapping this up. I think we hit a lot of good things there.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going anywhere. We can have conscious combos anytime, whether they're on or off the air.
Yeah, I would love to do this again. It'd be fun to maybe even make it like a weekly thing. Let me know in the comments if you guys be interested in doing kind of seeing a weekly crypto show like this where we talk about you know, what's going on and all the updates, answering your questions, that kind of stuff. See, We Are One says, to be an accredited investor without having a lot of dollars, get your Series 65 exam passed. Oh, I didn't know that. Good tip. Very interesting. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. It was fun.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, just feels like we're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Like nothing new, although it is live and whatnot.
Hanging out, but a little bit censored on what we
Yeah,
can say.
yeah. But before you go, you should play us a little song on the piano. Yeah.
Here, I have a little instrument right here.
Oh,
I don't know
perfect.
how to play it, but let's see. I'll make a little diddle. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Beautiful.
I'm a
Beautiful.
professional. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out, everyone in the chat. If you guys want to join Conscious Crypto and have weekly conversations like this in a private Zoom call, face-to-face with a small, intimate group of students where we're all on the Zoom call together, we're all chatting about what's going on, you get to ask questions. I think you guys would really enjoy that if you enjoyed this. So if you want to apply for Conscious Crypto, there's a link in the description. And it's not just the weekly coaching calls. We have whole course material and a community in a private Telegram with it too. So we teach people from the very beginning how to get through crypto. Like if you're brand new, or maybe you bought a little bit of crypto but you don't know what to do next, those are generally the people that we work with. And we'll walk you through like the very beginning, teach you all the fundamentals, teach you the conceptuals, the terms, the words, strategies, these kind of things. We'll talk about the consciousness, kind of the spirituality, like we've been talking about here about it. We do a little bit on trading and markets and mindset. And then we get into all the technical stuff. So we have tutorials step-by-step showing you how to buy, how to transfer, how to set up a private wallet, how to make payments, and then putting all that together to generate the passive income with the airdrops and the staking and delegations that we were talking about earlier with Flare and Corium. So if that interests you guys, apply down below, and we'll have a quick 45-minute strategy call together, see if it's a good fit for you, and we'll get you in the program. And that new wave of Conscious Crypto is going to be starting July 1st. I keep saying January, so I had to make sure I was like,
yeah, I know.
Right. I don't know why my mouth keeps wanting to say January. July 1st is when we're going to be starting. So only a couple weeks left to get in. If you guys do join now, you'll get instant access to the course material and the Telegram group, the private group, and then the coaching will start on the 1st of the month, or the first week of the month. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Shout out to everyone that's been here. Shout out to you, Robin. Thank you. Super nice comment. Been following you for a while. Really appreciate you and the information you're releasing into the co-collective consciousness. Thank you. Yes, for a weekly show, says We Are One. All right, that's an upvote.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all again. Thank you, Joel, again. And hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you soon. Peace out.
Peace out.